Hey, welcome back to part 3 of the What Do I Do series. So I've just sprained something or turned something, right? And I'm getting some swelling in my ankle, I'm swelling in my foot, swelling in my knee. Something is up. What do I do? So first order of business is we're gonna focus on some small picture ideas here, which is let's manage that congestion. So we have talked a lot about how, man, tissues that are swollen don't heal very well, right? The tissues don't knit down, we don't want to move, they shut down our proprioception, and potentially, especially after big trauma, that swelling mechanism or swelling fluid isn't great for joint surfaces. We know this about ACLs, for example, that a torn ACL, man, it's really hard on the interior of the joint. So what do we do about it? Well, first order of business is, well, how are we going to remove that congestion, or how can we manage that congestion? So if I have an NMES, a neuromuscular electric stim device like Mark Pro or H-Wave or Compax or PowerDot, then this gives me an opportunity to maybe get some movement in. So that would be, just getting non-fatiguing muscle contractions like with the Mark Pro, and that's a nice way to dump my lymphatics. So I'm going to get this lymphatic movement out of there, which is really about getting the garbage out and bringing the groceries in. But that's just your musculature. So can you continue to move a little bit? So I'm not saying that, hey, you need to, continue to exercise hard, but if there's some movement you can do in the system, like getting on a spin bike for 20 or 30 minutes without resistance, walking if that's appropriate, jumping into a pool if you had access to that, suddenly what you realize is, oh, hey, this feels better. And one of the reasons it's feeling better is that congestion is being managed through muscle contraction. So it's up to you how you want to do that. If you just want to flex your quads a couple times a minute for the next 1 hour, you can do that. But we do have a powerful tool popularized originally by Dick Herzl in a video, not a video, it was even before that, in an article he wrote called, Don't Ice That Ankle. And really one of the powerful tools that we have for this is some high-level intermittent compression. So grabbing a voodoo floss band and wrapping that thing, or either wrapping the joint, it's not about movement at this point, it's just about compression. That mechanical compression can do a lot to force the fluid out of the swollen area. So if I've got a hot spot on the IT band, right, I've got a little Achilles nagging thing, sometimes we see that we can make changes in how my brain is perceiving what's going on in the body by changing the fluid dynamics, which is fancy for saying I have swelling, my brain is perceiving that information coming from those swollen tissues as painful. It's amazing sometimes that we'll have people in our clinics or in our courses, I say, who's got really sore legs? Like whose quads are blown out? Someone will raise their hand, and then I'll just go over and shake their leg, right? They do a squat, it hurts. I just grab their leg and just shake it like a ski racing coach. And all of a sudden I say squat again, and they're like, I don't have any pain. Well, some of that is just motion and input, and some of that is just changing how the tissues are being perceived by the brain. And one of the fastest ways to change that, because most of us would be comfortable running around with a little congestion as long as it didn't hurt, right? A little stagnation, a little swelling, but it's the pain that gets our attention. So if you've just turned your ankle, you may or may not actually have hurt the ankle, right? You may or may not have disrupted some ligamentous integrity. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, you're going to heal from this, but what does matter is creating an environment in which you can heal. So first order of business, manage that congestion, manage that swelling. And again, tools are movement, tools are using NMES, or high-level compression and elevation, which means compress the crap out of that foot, like 50% tension, 50% overlap, and then get your foot up. It means you're laying down and leg is straight up. And that combination of compression and elevation can make a difference. And what we tell our athletes is that if they have a little swollen spot or a hot spot, wrapping that thing 7 to 10 times a day gets you a C. And the idea is, hey, let's get a minute or 2 or 3 of high-level compression. Let's pop that off and let the kind of fluids come back in. Because we're not only just chasing lymphatic fluid, we've got all the interstitial fluid. And when we make that compression, it's got to go somewhere, and we pop it off, we see the blood flow come back in, we see those tissues come back in, and often that's enough to really dramatically change local congestion area, which can be a driver of pain. So first order of business is, how do I take this small picture? How do I put some input into the system either movement or some compression or pain-free ranges and begin to restore that. So first order of business, let's get this swelling managed. Let's get some compression on that 7 to 10 times a day for 1 or 2 minutes, as much as you can, much as is practicable, and then we can have the next conversation. So small picture rules in acute situations, right? First order of business, we've got to desensitize, we've got to decongest and reperfuse, and then we can talk about what's next. And that may be, hey, my ankle doesn't hurt anymore, but I had a bad sprain. I'm 4 to 6 weeks, because that's how long it takes for tissues to heal. Hopefully this helps.